Hi there. For this video, we'll be talking about the sum and difference of two cubes. Now to do this, we first have a cube plus b cube. To factor this one out, it is given by a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So this is the factored form of the sum of two cubes. Now to remember this one, a good guide is to start with this binomial. So to remember this, let's first write this one. The first term of the binomial will be the cube root of the first term. So that will be a, copy the sign. So we'll have the plus sign. And then the second term of the binomial will be the cube root of the given, which is b. After that, to remember the trinomial part, we focus now on the created binomial. So the first term out here is the square of the first term of the binomial, which is a squared. Then the third term is the square of this one, which is b squared. For the middle term, we simply multiply this two, which is ab. For the signs, just remember that the sign out here will reverse. And this one out here will simply be positive, always positive. So that is the sum of two cubes. Let's now have the difference of two cubes. If we have a cube minus b cube, applying the same idea from above, we start with the binomial. So we have the cube root of the first term, which is a, the cube root of the second term, which is b, and then the sign is subtraction. So we'll have this one. For the trinomial part, we now focus on this generated binomial. So for the first and last term, we simply square this given. So this one out here will be a squared, and this one out here will be b squared. For the middle term, again, we multiply this two. So a times b is ab. For the operation, in this one, note that what we do is we reverse the operation. So since this is subtraction, we write out addition out here. And for this part, this one is always addition. So this is the difference of two cubes. Given this, we obtain this general formula. If we have a cube plus minus b cube, its factored form is a plus minus b times a squared here, b squared here. The middle term is, we simply multiply it, so we'll have ab, and the sign is reversed, so we'll have minus and plus here, and this one out here is always plus. So that is the general form of the sum and difference of two cubes. So let's move this one up here for our guide. And let's have our first example. If we have x cubed plus 27, the first thing to do is to check if the two terms are perfect cubes. In this case, x cubed, when we get its cube root, we'll obtain x. So it is a perfect cube. For 27, note that we can write this one as 3 times 3 times 3, or 3 cubed. So when we get its perfect cube, the outcome is 3. So with that one, let's take note of this too. We can now write out the factored form of this binomial. So this one out here is first the cube root, which is x, copy the sign, cube root of the second term, which is 3. And for the trinomial part, we now focus on this one. So the first term out here is the square, so we have x squared, and the last term is the square of the second term, which is 3 squared. Then for the middle term, we simply multiply these two. So x times 3 is 3x, and for the sign, this one out here is reversed. This one is always positive. So simplifying, this one is x plus 3 times x squared minus 3x plus 9. So that is the factored form of this difference. No, it's sum of two cubes. Let's have a second example. If we have x cubed y raised to 6 minus 8z cubed, note that this one out here is a perfect cube, since if we get its cube root, we'll have x cubed here, y raised to 6 here, and this one is equal to x and y squared, since y raised to 6 can be written as y raised to 2 cubed. For the next one out here, this is also a perfect cube, since the cube root of 8z cubed is equal to 2z. Since 8 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2, 2 cubed, and z cubed is already cubed. So with this one, we can now factor out this difference of two cubes. So the first term, taking the cube roots, that is xy squared, copy the sign, minus cube root of the second term is 2z times, focusing now on the generated binomial out here, the terms trinomial will obtain square the first term, so we'll have xy squared squared. Then for the last term, square of 2z out here. And for the middle term, we simply multiply this two. So we'll have xy squared times 2z. And for the sign, what we do is, again, since this one is negative, we take the reverse, which is positive, and always positive out here. Simplifying, we'll obtain xy squared minus 2z times, we distribute the square out here, so we'll have x squared y raised to 4 plus 2xy squared z plus, distribute the exponent again, So we obtain 2 squared is 4 and z squared. And so this is the factored form of these binomials. Let's have our third example. If we have 3a cubed plus 81b cubed. Now you might say that this one out here is not a perfect cube, since if we get its cube root, we'll have a cube root of 3, which is not perfect since we still have this one. But note that we can actually apply the GCM out here. Since both of these terms have a factor of 3, we can write this one as 3 times a cubed plus 81 divided by 3 is 27b cubed. Now from this one, we can now factor out this given. But this is something that I'll just leave as an exercise. You can verify and comment down below what the factored form or your solution to this one. Let's have our final example. If we have 1/8 minus c cubed, from here, note that it might not seem like it, but this one out here is actually a perfect cube, since 1/8 can be written as 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, or 1/2 cubed, or 1/2 raised to 3. So we know that the cube root of 1/8 is 1/2. For c cubed, its cube root is c. So with these two, we can now create its factored form. So first, the cube root of the first term, which is 1/2, copy the sign, cube root of the second term, which is c, times, focusing now on this binomial, we'll have the first term is its square, so we'll have 1/2 squared. The last term will be the square of this one, which is simply c squared, and then we multiply this 2. So that will be 1/2 times c. And then for the sign, since this is subtraction, we write out the reverse, which is addition, and out here is always addition. So simplifying this, we'll have 1/2 minus c times 1/2 squared is 1/4 plus 1/2 times c is c/2 plus c squared. And that is the factored form of the given. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Just recall and don't forget that this one out here is given as an exercise for you to try on your own and comment down below. So that's it for this video. Feel free to comment any suggestions and recommendations that you have for the future videos in this channel. So that's it, and that's all for this video.